Hey everybody, how we doing today? So, yay. Time for more Iran news. So Iran has basically had enough of the US sanctions and the US bullying and so forth. They're basically threatening us back, saying they can strike at our carriers and ships in the region at any time. That they're not afraid of us. They can strike at our ships whenever they want to. This has to do with the additional sanctions and other actions concerning the supposed nuclear program that Iran is running. Even though their nuclear program apparently was demonstrably, even by an Iranian spy working for us, it was demonstrably discontinued in 2003. So the Obama nuclear deal with Iran was literally pointless, literally stupid, literally unneeded. So why did he do it? Probably because he thought it was true. Someone in U.S. intelligence convinced him it was true, even though it wasn't. The same sort of George W. Bush-ish type stuff. In many ways, Obama was basically the black George W. Bush. In a lot of ways, only, more democratic as opposed to a Republican. But yeah, it could. They say they could easily hit U.S. warships in the Gulf, and just general response to U.S. strong-arming. They're actually asking for European allies to help protect their economy from U.S. sanctions, which are getting heavier and heavier. Trump is levying more sanctions, and now there's bite back. Trump's foreign policy of bullying other countries into behaving in the way we want them to is finally backfiring and kicking and biting them on the ass, which I knew it would eventually. This is not remotely unexpected. But Trump has urged Iran's leadership to hold talks over its nuclear program and regional influence. He actually does want to talk it out. So, the foreign policy is not completely worthless in this country. It just needs a lot of work. This sort of militaristic bullying is not going to work. It's starting to backfire. But Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif made a recent visit to Japan and China, so the international community and remaining signatories of the nuclear deal should act to save the accord, as supportive statements are not enough. Last week, Iran notified the 5 remaining signatories that it would reduce some commitments under the record. Tehran has asked the other signatories, including Germany, Britain, and France, to help protect its economy from U.S. sanctions, as I said before. These safeguards are for the nuclear accord. And it's possible through practical measures and not only through supportive statements, which is Zarif was saying that. But if the international community feels that this nuclear accord is a valuable achievement, then it's probably going to try and take practical steps, much like Iran does. Yeah, practical steps. How about buying and selling treated uranium at a certain rate so that they remain within the previously established limits that the deal established by Obama. So they can sneak the uranium in and out of the country. Very cleverly, might I add. They've been looking for a way around the deal for some time now. Mostly because they see it as unfair. And the United States and the UN nuclear watchdog believe Iran had a nuclear weapons program that it abandoned. Tehran denies after ever having had one. But as I said previously, yes, they did. According to an Iranian spy, that Iran did have a nuclear weapons research program until early 2003, but then dismantled it. Well before the Obama nuclear deal. In short, the nuclear deal was unneeded. But there is now a high level of confidence that Iran is no longer seeking nuclear weapons. So why the sanctions? What are they doing to justify this treatment by the United States? Nothing, as far as I can tell. Like I said, the U.S. foreign policy is a joke under Trump. It's absolutely sickening that we get away with this shit. This is a quote from al-Sharq al-Awsat, saying around that time that according to anonymous officials who spoke to the Turkish newspaper, Millet, the Turkish intelligence and police, had discovered that Asghari was opposed to the Iranian government and that he holds information regarding its nuclear plan. That being the spy. Needless to say, there were some anti-government terrorists, which Saddam Hussein had given a base in Iraq, and they were able to discover the nuclear research facility at Natanz, and they passed information about it. Not only off to Saddam, but also the U.S. And after seeing what international economic sanctions did to Iraq, the Iranians were afraid of sanctions once Natanz became known. Yeah, and guess what? Those same sanctions are now being levied. Right now, as of this very moment. Their fears came to life because of the foreign policy of Donald Trump. Which in many ways is utterly nightmarish. Look, I'm not saying that Iran should get off the hook for having an illegal nuclear weapons research program, because no countries on Earth are currently permitted to have nuclear weapons. But these sanctions are too much. The Iranian nuclear deal with Obama, I think, was much saner, if not a little unnecessary. Personally, if we keep pushing them like this, they're going to make an aggressive move. In response, they will feel justified because they believe themselves to be being provoked by the United States policy. They will make that statement to the international community, and some countries will extend their sympathies, further making the United States an anathema as a result. We're going to be placed on like a permanent shit list. And we don't need that kind of publicity. Personally, I think we just need to back off here and mind our own damn business. Iran's not even our jurisdiction anyway. It's not a U.S. territory. It's not even anywhere near our part of the world. Just let it go. It's none of our business. And in the end, we're just going to make things worse like we always do. Anyway,